The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, 1945. In 1940, the U.S. government created and funded their own top-secret nuclear weapons research program. This highly confidential program was given the name the Manhattan Project, and over the next several years, scientists working for the program, many of whom escaped from fascist Europe, worked on obtaining uranium and plutonium, necessary materials for nuclear fission to occur. These materials were sent to Los Alamos, New Mexico, where a team of scientists managed by J. Robert Oppenheimer turned these items into usable explosive, and on the early morning of the 16th of July, 1945, the first ever nuclear weapon ever created was detonated at the Trinity test site in New Mexico. By this time, Nazi Germany had surrendered and the war in Europe was over by May of 1945. Japan was the last major Allied enemy still remaining, and they were not going to give up without a fight. The Allied casualties between April and July 1945 have been unlike anything ever seen before by the Allies, suggesting that the Japanese had gotten tougher as they faced near certain defeat. By late July, the Japanese government had refused the Allied call for surrender, and because of this, General Douglas MacArthur and other commanders suggested Operation Downfall, or an invasion of Japan. However, this proposed invasion would likely have U.S. casualties be near 1 million men. U.S. President Harry Truman was not a fan of this idea, and after discussing with the Manhattan Project scientists as well as General Dwight Eisenhower, Truman decided to drop the atomic bombs in hopes to end the war quickly and without an enormous loss of Allied and American life. The U.S. also believed that using such a destructive device would give them a powerful post-war position in the world. Hiroshima was a manufacturing city in Japan and had around 350,000 people living there. Hiroshima was also the first target of the atomic bomb. The nearly 10,000-pound bomb was brought to Tinian, a U.S. base in the Pacific, where it was loaded onto a B-29 bomber. On the 6th of August, 1945, U.S. Colonel Paul Tibbets flew Little Boy, the bomb's nickname, over Hiroshima, where it was dropped around 8:15 in the morning. It detonated at around 2,000 feet above Hiroshima, where an estimated 70 to 140,000 people died from either detonation itself or radiation exposure, or otherwise. Little Boy destroyed over 5 square miles of Hiroshima. However, this would not be enough for the Japanese to surrender. The Allies were not happy with no surrender from the Japanese, and because of this, on the 9th of August, 1945, U.S. Major Charles Sweeney flew yet another B-29 bomber, again from the Tinian base, this time loaded with Fat Man, over to the Japanese mainland. The target was Kokura, Japan. However, due to poor weather conditions, the location was changed to Nagasaki, where around 250,000 people lived. Fat Man, a plutonium bomb weighing nearly 10,000 pounds, was dropped at 11:02 in the morning. An estimated 60 to 80,000 people were killed in Nagasaki, and around 2.5 square miles were destroyed. The Japanese Emperor Hirohito was now faced with the idea that if he did not surrender, his country would eventually be wiped from the face of the earth from these explosives. Finally, on the 15th of August, 1945, Emperor Hirohito announced Japan's surrender over a Japanese radio broadcast. The official surrender was signed on the 2nd of September, 1945, aboard the U.S. battleship Missouri, which was anchored in the Tokyo Bay. These bombings were the first and, as of now, the last time that nuclear weapons were used in combat. The Japanese surrender marked an end to the deadliest conflict in the history of humanity, World War II. Thanks for watching.